our draw along of the oil derrick, the first thing that we are going to do is draw a little house shape. Now this is not a real house. This was more of a covering and a protection for the workers inside, because remember Kalinga gets hot in that hot sun, and also the equipment that they would be using on the inside of this little structure, this little shed. It's a word for a small house, it's a shed, so that the equipment didn't get damaged. So we're going to start with that. So right here on my middle line, I'm going to start with a rectangle, and I'm just going to make it about this big. So use those reference lines that I gave you and think about your paper. Can you make your rectangle about that big? Okay. Now this is going to be a three-dimensional shape, and that means we're going to show two sides of this building. So what I'm going to do is, my rectangle is here. I'm going to come over here a little bit, and I'm going to make this line start just a little higher than this point. And then again, I'm going to think about this point, and I'm going to come over under this one, and I'm just going to make sure it's a little higher than that side. Okay, I'm going to draw my line. And then I'm going to connect those bottom to bottom, top to top. And that gives me two sides of the building. Okay, good. All right, right above this line, I'm going to make a roof shape, a triangle. So I want to come right here in the middle. I want to come up probably to about there, maybe about less than 2 fingers up. And then I'm going to connect from here to the top and here back down. And that gives me that roof triangle shape. Okay. All right. Now, there is a long roof section right here. So just like this one came at an angle, a little diagonal, we're going to do the same thing. We want this one to look about the same. So I'm going to start by drawing, I'm going to draw a straight line across, and I'm going to stop. I want to stop short. I don't want to go as far as this, so that I can draw my roof shape from here to here going down. Okay, I got my shed. Remember, it wasn't a real house. The people did live by these because they didn't have cars, by the oil derricks and the pumping units. But this isn't one of those. This is something that was used to cover the equipment and keep the men out of the sun. All right, so that is going to be under our oil derrick. All right, let's start on our oil derrick now. All right, so the oil derrick was much taller. This was under it, so it's going to be way up here somewhere, okay? And I'm going to use my pen, or even your pencil, I can use the same one I'm using to draw with, to just kind of measure up and find about the middle of the shed so that I can start from the top to make my oil derrick. So my oil derrick's going to start at about right here. So right about the middle there, I'm going to make a small rectangle, very small rectangle. So I'm in my upper quadrant because I divided my paper. I'm right about that middle section of it, but really close to my middle line there too, my vertical line. That helps me to get things ready. Okay, so that's where the oil spouted out. So we need to build a structure to support that. So we're going to put a little bit longer rectangle, skinny though, underneath that. Okay, and we're going to support that with 2 pieces of wood, one on the right and one on the left. Just little pieces of wood holding that up. And then we're going to do a rectangle just like this thin one underneath. So same size, same thickness. There we go. All right? Good. Now, oil derricks are shaped like pyramids. They're very tall, thin pyramid shapes. So we need to make that triangular pyramid shape next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right underneath that vertical support piece of wood right there, and I'm going to put a little dot there. And then I'm going to pull that leg of my derrick down to that corner of the shed. So I'm going to draw a diagonal line from here to here. So here I go. do the best you can. If it's not exactly perfect, we don't worry about it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish yours. You can always pause the video if you need to. I'm going to do the same thing now on the left side. So right underneath that support beam. But this time I want this leg to come down to the front side of my shed. So it's going to land right here. All right, so here I go. Try to get as close as I can, but if I miss, that's okay. Okay, draw yours. All right, now this is a pyramid. That means there isn't going to be a third, and there's actually a fourth leg, but we're not going to worry about that one. But we are going to draw the third leg, and this leg is going to come right behind the house, right about here. So I'm going to make it stop here because it would be going behind, so we wouldn't see it. And we're going to do it right next to that left one, just slightly off. Don't use the same dot, but use one really close to it, and draw from there to that one. Good. All right. Now, these were not skinny little pieces of wood like toothpicks. That would not hold up all that heavy machinery they would put on top. We need to thicken these. So I'm just going to draw a line next to my lines I've already drawn so that it looks like a thicker piece of wood. So I'm going to go from here to here. And if it gets a little fatter at the bottom, I tend to do that. That's fine. If you don't go fatter at the bottom, that's okay too. I'm going to do it here. In fact, those are probably really fat, but that's okay. And then I'm going to do one back here, and it's going to come right up this way. So I'm going to kind of goes behind this guy. There we go, and just right back there. Okay. All right, so thicken up those beams. Nice, strong pieces of wood to hold up those oil derricks and all the things that they were going to be they're going to climb up and down them. They're going to put big machines sometimes, or big pieces up at the top sometimes. They need to be strong. They're skinny, but they're strong. All right, now in order to add more support, we're going to put some beams going horizontally across. So right about the top, come down about 1.5 fingers or so. We're going to put one here, like that. And then if you have space, I have very little space, we can even put a little bit over here because you have to have you would have that on all the sides. Let's come to right about this middle line, and let's put one here. Again, make it thick, and then add a nice angle, because you notice there's an angle. This is that three-dimensional shape. We just got to kind of put it at a little bit of a slight angle, a diagonal. And then we're going to put one more down here closer to the roof. Right there, and then its partner will come at a little diagonal here. All right, so do that. Okay, now that helps the structure be stronger, but people who have engineered tall structures have learned a very important secret. If you put a set of cross beams, and that is like an X, if you put an X shape between those beams, those vertical beams, you will make your structure so much stronger and sturdier. So that's what they've done in the oil fields. These are very tall structures. It's windy out there. Things can get rocked and moved. These cross beams are really handy. So between each of our horizontal beams, we need to put in some cross beams. And back then, they did build them with wood, but of course now all of this, or at least most of it, I'm pretty sure all of it, is made out of metal, which makes it extra strong. And cross beams have to go on this side too. So I'm going to go from here to here, and these are going to look kind of skinny because, again, they're on that other side, that diagonal side. That's okay. Just go from best you can from corner to corner. Mine's this one's going to hide corner to corner. And this one you can't even see, but that would have an X too. All right, we just built an oil derrick. Now, The purpose of that oil, Derrick, is to hold something up. And what it's going to hold up is this pipe. This pipe that is going to go up the top, and that is where the oil is going to shoot up and give us that big spray at the top. So that's why we kind of built it in the middle of this roof, so that we could now draw in a pipe that runs right down the middle on both sides. So I'm going to draw my pipe. Here we go. Down. And then stop right in the roof. It's going to go through the roof in just a minute. Do a similar one on this side. Try to keep it as straight as you can. Do your best. Okay. All right. So draw that pipe. And then when you get done with your pipe, you just kind of make a round shape to show that this is a pipe. When it goes in the roof, it's going to look round at the bottom. Okay. Good deal. All right, so they would drill and they would drill, they would strike oil, and the oil would spray out the top. Be so exciting. So now we're going to make some oil spraying out the top. We're going to have it, or gushing. I think that's a better word, gushing. We're going to loop it out and then put like big goopy drops like that. I'm going to do a double drop this time. I'm going to go goop, goop, and bring it back in. And then some of it's going to go up in the sky. Oh, goop. And then some of it's sprayed up higher. Some of them were single drops. But just kind of as you're building this shape, just kind of make it round at the ends. I'm almost done. I'm going to put another single down here. And then for fun, I'm going to have some big drips just coming out. Different spots. There we go. That's that oil. It was thick, but it was under pressure, so it shot right out. All right, now let's just add a little bit of detail. We're going to add some, think of this like this is a scientific or a non-fiction picture, so we're going to add some labeling. There's the oil. What was this called again? A derrick. Say derrick. Derrick. So you can label your derrick. And remember, this was not a house. We called this a shed. It is a small covered structure in which you store tools, keep things safe like that. And not only was the derrick made out of wood, but so was the shed. And so we're going to add a few lines to show that it was also made out of wood. Even the roof was wood. They didn't have roofing tiles. So just put some lines to show the roof there. And it came down over some planks of wood. And it's okay if you leave lines like that. It gives that impression of wood. You don't have to always draw straight line or straight all the way through lines. Now on this side though, there was not a door and a window. Remember, this wasn't a house. It was a shed. But they needed a big opening to go in and out easily and quickly. So like maybe 8 guys could run in there if they had to. So we're going to do an opening that is much larger. So I'm going to draw a line here for my opening. It's going to go across and kind of try to be the same direction as this line on the roof. And then it's going to come down again like that. And there's my big opening in the shed. And then out of that shed would be a pipe. And that's how they got the oil from the ground into storage containers that they could then start processing the wood and getting ready to send it off to people who needed it. And if you want to add some more wood, you can add some wood on this side too. Some wood went horizontal, some went vertical. And that is our oil derrick. I hope you enjoy drawing it. All right. I am going to make a second video though of the next part of the process, the storage container. So if your teacher wants to continue on with that, that video will be available. Thanks for drawing with me today. Bye.